Hello Borewell, I'm here to talk to you about the Get Involved campaign. My experience with school, I was very clever. I was very academic. I had the opportunity to do quite a lot with myself. And unfortunately, I let things that were going on at home affect me. And it's hard not to as a child because you don't really have the tools to deal with certain things at that age. Growing up's hard enough anyway. But it affected me and for the most part my attendance. The only problem I ever had on my school record was attendance. I think it's important that young people apply themselves to set themselves up for the rest of their lives. Even if they end up in a job that isn't necessarily academic. You need the foundation, don't you? And I think school gives you that. And not just in what you learn out of the books, but also what you get from learning to communicate with people. You know, from having a great circle of friends and having that discipline of having to be somewhere and having to behave in a certain way and having to be polite and having to treat people properly. You learn so many different things from school. You know, you don't think as many things from other kids as you do from reading things in books, and you need those foundations to live a proper life. I wanted to be involved in this campaign to hopefully help a lot of children have a much better record of attendance at school than I did. I was very lucky to get to where I am, but it didn't come easy, and it's not anything I'd suggest to anyone else. There have been plenty of times when I feel negative. I've always suffered with depression. To turn those negatives into a positive, the biggest help for me was music. It gave me a voice, it gave me a way to express myself. Yeah, definitely finding a way in which to get what was going on inside out was the biggest help. And also talking to someone. And also just starting to do things, be kinder to myself, you know, rather than going out all the time and avoiding everything that was going on. I started to deal with the things that I needed to. I started to work out, which made me a lot happier, natural endorphins. You know, I just find the more positive things you do, the more positive your life is. It sounds obvious, but you know, a lot of people tend to do the opposite thing to what they need to be doing. You know, if someone would explain that it wasn't a pain in my stomach, that it was anxiety, that would have made things a hell of a lot easier for everyone else involved as well. You know, my nan went through hours of suffering, taking me to the doctors, me having tubes down my neck, looking for physical ailments that weren't there. Honestly, I think it comes down to what happens to you as a kid can be an excuse for your behaviour up until a point, but as an adult, you have to be able to look at things and take responsibility for your actions. You can't just excuse your behaviour because of something that's happened forever. You have to take it upon your shoulders to deal with it. Self-awareness is a big part of it, but it's a very hard thing to look at yourself and go, yeah, I'm wrong, I'm doing wrong, and I need to stop it. But that's one of the most important steps towards it, I think. Young people in Nottingham should get involved. Most importantly, to do something for themselves and for each other. You're not just letting yourself down if you don't get involved. You're letting everyone in your tutor group down. You know, a lot of people are going to be working hard to try and win the opportunity. And then there is that small thing that they get at the end of it. They get to come and see me in concert, which hopefully people will want to do. So get involved. Now it's over to some good mates of mine at Capital to let you know exactly what you have to do to get involved.